Welcome to the Diane McClay Show, empowering life through choice. Get ready to discover new perspectives, motivation, and balance through Diane's compassionate storytelling and insightful discussions. Whether you're feeling stuck and discouraged, or curious and looking for more possibilities, Diane has your back, and she's ready to take you on a journey of self-discovery and expansion. Choice is powerful, and so are you. The Diane McClay Show.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you for tuning in to Transformation Talk Radio, and thank you for tuning in to the Diane McClay Show, where every time we're on the air, we try to empower your life through choice. I'm so glad you made the choice to spend some time with us today. I have two of my friends, two of my mentors, and some really exciting news for you as you go into the holidays, go into the new year. You're spending time, you're making all these decisions about how you want your life to be, and maybe you're just a little stuck. Maybe you're caught in the stuckery of the routine and you just want things to be different. I've got two people here who can help you get where you want to be with purpose, with meaning, and help you get stuff done. Welcome in Suzanne Taylor King. She is somebody who has actually mentored me in my business. She is a life business coach for entrepreneurs who want to grow a successful business with purpose. And she's the owner of Tailored Coaching. Welcome in, Suzanne. Thank you for being here.
Hello. I feel like this is old home week right here.
It is, right? It's been over a year since you helped me get in alignment with the vision that I wanted for my business, helped me brand my story, my messaging. So always a shout out to you on that. So thank you for helping me get there. I know you can help other people get where they want to be as well. And my other friend and one of my other mentors, both of these ladies are, well, not so much Denise. Denise Stegel is actually the co-creator and curator of Living Healthy List, also a health and wellness coach. And she's in the world of helping you get where you want to be with a healthy lifestyle, whether that's food management, weight management, mindset management. And I'm super excited she's here today because the three of us are going to talk a little bit about this new upcoming anthology book that we've created with some other authors. Denise, welcome in.
Thanks, Diane. It's always great to be here. I love chatting with you. You know that. The three of us are going to have a grand old time.
I was just about to say that we've never met in person, the two of us, but we have this friendship that seems like we've been old friends forever. But that's not true because you and I got to meet in Colorado over the summer for the first time and go for a beautiful hike in the background that's behind me. So Suzanne,
so awesome.
Now you just need to join the crew and come out and join us so we can go play together.
Yeah, are we having wine for this show right now? Because
you know what? Bring it on. It's the holidays. Well, both of you take a minute and tell our audience kind of what you do, why we are collecting together today. Just give a little bit of background about what brought you into each of your respective businesses and what you really feel makes you unique and different compared to other coaches that are out there. Suzanne, jump in.
Oh boy. So I got my start as a coach, as a health and wellness coach. I was introduced to Denise from her sister. Her sister actually lives near me, came to one of my workshops, and it was like instantaneous. We were like business besties from day one. And at that point, I was really focused on helping entrepreneurs step more fully into their business, whether it was online tools, tips, strategies, frameworks. And through the work that I did with you about a year ago, I really discovered that I wanted to help entrepreneurs in that deeper way, get connected to their products and their offerings and step confidently into their pricing. So to really know their assets and know what they were offering, it's just really fun for me. So if I get to do something fun, it's awesome. And I've always been a community builder. I started my first community in the early 90s before social media. And somebody said today, oh, her first community she started 30 years ago. And I was like, wait, oh my God. Yeah, it's 30 years ago. So that was a little bit of a shock today, but now I have an incredible community that I've taken off social media into a standalone platform. and Denise is going to be one of my experts in that community. So kind of like a collaboration of my community promoting Living Healthy list and Denise helping me grow my community. It's really amazing how we've kind of come together on both of our businesses, which is truly amazing. And I might know her business almost as good as she knows her business. And
some days even more.
Well, some days you know me more than I know me. So that's really the magic of this book that Denise has created, and coming together to promote that together with that unified message is just it's so fun. I can't believe I get to do this for a living. But I feel privileged to have been invited to the book in the first place. So excited to dive in today.
Right. Well, and that book is called Healthy Thinking, Happy Life, Master Your Mindset and Get Stuff. It's something different,
Bleep.
but bleep stuff done, get it done. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Denise, I'm so excited that you actually created this opportunity, not only for your community to connect me to your community, but to connect all of these when we say community, we're talking about the client base that we feel called to serve with purpose, the client base that we know we can help in one way or the other. But what's really beautiful about this is we've started to figure out that none of us is as smart as all of us. And by being able to intermingle Suzanne's entrepreneurial, business-oriented mind and community, mine with choice and courage, and yours with healthy thinking and happy living, we actually have a very dynamic, engaging environment for individuals, business owners to engage in. So Denise, tell us a little bit about Living Healthy List and that collaboration. Then we'll talk a little bit about our stories in the book and just figure out where the conversation goes from there.
Certainly. So Living Healthy List, really, I started that a couple of years ago, and I had one idea, and I wasn't really sure where we were going to go with it, but I knew that people were out there looking for health and wellness information and getting a lot of nothing or a lot of nonsense. So I created Living Healthy List to offer people honest, reliable, and unbiased information in different areas: health, wellness, personal development, and fun. And I realized I couldn't do all of that together, which is where the list comes in. And so I've invited experts in different areas of those 4 categories to join me at Living Healthy List to help people at least start to figure out where they want to start, what they need, and be able to connect them with the experts that can help them. Too often people would go, you go to the internet and you go, oh, okay, I want to find one thing. And 20 minutes later, you haven't even looked at what you were thinking about, and you've got more questions than you have answers. And so that was really why I started Living Healthy List, because at one point I was looking for information and couldn't find it. And I thought, if I'm a health and wellness expert and I can't find the information that I need, how is somebody who doesn't know what to look for, how do they even start? So that's why I started Living Healthy List. And what I've realized through the last few years with Living Healthy List, we keep growing and providing different things for our audiences, because one, each expert has a little bit of a different audience. We have a little bit of a different tweak to how we approach health, wellness, entrepreneurship, whatever it might be. And so by creating something new, this book that we're talking about, Healthy Thinking, Happy Life, it all starts with how you think about yourself and your situation and your health. It really is, there's so much of what we do in our lives, it's all between our ears. And what I find with all of the authors in our book, everybody's story resonates. I mean, it's amazing. Your chapter, I felt I had a similar experience than you did in when you're talking about it in your chapter. And I resonate with what Diane says. And there are different pieces of each author's chapter that I know is going to resonate with people. And truly the whole point is to get people to a place where they're comfortable with where they are and where they want to be. And we are there to help them move forward.
And I want to jump in on that, because to our listeners that might be driving right now, maybe you're not sure what we're talking about. So I want to bring our listeners into the conversation for a minute. Whatever you think about where you're at in your life right now. Are you happy? Yes or no? Are you comfortable? Yes or no? Do you wish that something would change? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you want something to change, the next question is, do you have a plan? Do you have support? Do you know how to get to that place? Do you even know how to identify? So in my world, in one of the books I've written, I said, change happens when you know in your gut, in your heart, in your soul, that you can't stay where you are, but you don't know how to get to where you want to be. If you know that you cannot stay where you are, weight-wise, mental health-wise, business entrepreneurial-wise, diet, anything, even just making a choice, if you're not where you feel comfortable, it's time to connect with us. Suzanne Taylor King, Denise Stegall, myself, Diane McClay, Living Healthy List. What's beautiful about Living Healthy List and also Suzanne's community is this is like one-stop shopping. Suzanne or I or Denise may not be the person to help you, but we are connected to a lot of other people. And we will be honest with you. If it's not us, we'll say, you know what, that's not my specialty or my forte, but let me put you in touch with somebody that A, I've vetted, B, I trust, and C, I have used as a resource. You guys are nodding your heads. You want to jump in on this?
Absolutely. That's the beauty of community. And Suzanne has a beautiful community. It's just growing every day. There are more and more people. And I want to know everybody. I want to get to know what they do, because we're all at a place in our businesses where we're comfortable with who we are. We're comfortable with who our ideal client is. And so I feel very comfortable if somebody comes to me and they really are looking for help with their business. That's where Suzanne comes in. It's an easy conversation. Same thing with you, Diane. Anytime I have somebody who I'm not jibing with, but somebody who needs that next step when it comes to making those decisions and really being, clear and being able to clarify what it is that they want. You have a knack of asking the right questions and different questions than other coaches may ask. And I know that you're the person who's going to help them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Suzanne, you're nodding your head a lot. So, we're talking about trying to make sure we put an average radio listener audience. We want to connect them with the thing they need. We want to connect them with where they want to be. And we want to do it in an efficient, professional, and supportive way. So I just want to make sure that we're bringing our listeners into the conversation, because it's the end of the year, right? This is the time that people start making New Year's resolutions or promises to themselves. And I want to jump in real quick, because I love the saying. So the origin of the word purpose is Latin, and it comes from proposere, which means to propose. And I had a conversation with another coach at one point, and we said, what if purpose isn't this really big, grand thing that's hard to define? But what if we as individual human beings make one small promise to ourselves every day that we're going to make a decision to get closer to our goal? In 365 days, I'll bet you that you're going to be living 100% in your purpose. And so I know that, Suzanne, you help entrepreneurs connect to that purpose. For me, I had all these ideas in my head about what I wanted to put into the world, and I didn't know how to connect it in a way that was meaningful and purposeful. And you helped me kind of congeal all those things and put a story brand out.
Well, that's awesome. And And through working with you, you helped me. It's so amazing to me when I work with someone and they actually help me too. So there's three things I want to say about what you said. One, working with you helped me clarify what I actually do with people that lights me up so much. And that was the start of an interesting up level for me last year. And then two, the way Denise describes her community of experts, that made me craft because I was exposed to Denise and her insights. When I decided to take my community off social media, I said, what if I had a community? Right? I know. It's so cool.
I'm pointing to a shirt that I'm wearing because I'm going to interrupt my two favorite questions. They're what if, and why not?
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
I love it.
Right? It's what if you could do something just a little bit different, and why not try? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I want our listeners to walk away with is what if you had access to a community that could help you get where you want to be, and why not join?
And that was literally just something that sparked in me. So if I'm going to create a community, I don't want to be the sage on the stage teaching everything, because I'm not an expert in everything. And I've been a great referral partner and a connector for years. So what if I take that superpower and bring that into a community where I have experts and experts in all things entrepreneurship, and literally those experts have micro communities within the whole. So I'm basically creating, right now it's about 15 groups within one community. And as a member, you have a choice. Do you join this and this? Or do you join this, this, and this? Do you need this and this? And the big vision is big. It's bigger than I've ever allowed myself to go before. And I would say that's because there's community involved. There's collaboration involved. And I just had an amazing discussion with an old friend who I literally told what I was up to a year ago. I'm going to create this. And she didn't listen. Did not listen at all. And she saw it now. And she saw the 15 experts. And she saw the engagement of the conversations that I'm having now compared to last year. And she said, why didn't you invite me to be an expert? And she was very like, I said, I did. I invited you to do it with me from the very beginning, and you didn't see the possibility. She was like, I don't remember that.
Well, and that's a good tie-in. Seeing the possibilities, right?
Yes.
So again, for our listening audience who are driving someone, they're like, how is this going to benefit me, right? We're talking about communities and this and that. What I really want, I'm excited about this collaborative book that we've come up with because Denise, how many chapters are there? 15?
There are 16 chapters.
Okay, so we have 16 authors who have 16 different stories.
Actually, 15. Sorry, it's 15 because Miss Suzanne Taylor King has 2 chapters.
Right, because she has 2 really awesome stories. But
she has 2 awesome. She's got more than 2, but she can write a book.
Is it hashtag overachiever? Not sure. Not sure.
It's hashtag I've got a good message to share with people and I can't fit it into one chapter.
Or I'm old and I have lots of stories. I don't know. But
the thing is what we know is the stories we're telling in this book, Healthy Thinking, Happy Life, which is going to come out, the Kindle version is going to come out on the 19th of December. And then we're working through Amazon to basically get hard copies ordered. And we'll tell you more about how to do that. But the thing about this is these are real stories by real people who've experienced something similar to probably something that every one of our listeners has experienced at some point in their life. Health issues, decision-making issues, gratitude, finding the possibility. Suzanne, you mentioned that. You talked about seeing the possibility. And you mentioned having this vision of something bigger And this is what we can bring to you, the listener. We have the ability to see the bigger picture. One of my superpowers is I absolutely have 2000% belief in everybody I work with and everybody I run into. Like I have a backpack full of belief. I'm a big hiker. It's the first thing that goes in my backpack. It's stuffed like it's, if you can imagine, like a big fluffy sleeping bag that expands as soon as you take it out of its compression
She's
sack.
like Dora the Explorer.
Right? That's like my belief
Of possibility.
in you. A possibility. And we want to help our listeners connect to that possibility and expand like that big fluffy sleeping bag so that they can live a happy life. They can feel like they're balanced and that they can live with purpose and meaning and intent. Right? I mean, that's what I get lit up about. And that's why I'm excited you guys are here, because you share the same vision.
Yes. And I think what happens is everybody is, we all go, oh, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And the reason why these books are called or this particular book is called Healthy Thinking, because if you have to think about it first, like you have to have a plan and you have to think of the what ifs and open your mind to different possibilities, because otherwise that you're just going with the flow, and the happiness can never happen because you're always trying something new and kind of going, oh, this doesn't work. Oh, well, I'm comfortable where I am. And I hear that all the time. I'm comfortable where I am. I'm not necessarily happy, but I'm comfortable here. And I think that's really where the question, what are the possibilities? And in Healthy Thinking, each time I read through the manuscript, because I've read through the manuscript, 20 times now, I'm reminded of things that I could do better, or where I can think more clearly. And it's amazing that everybody I asked to participate said yes, because they saw the potential in how we can connect to our audiences. And realistically, for the listeners, like, we're just here to help. So this is an easy way, kind of, for somebody who's just listening or just starting. It's such an easy way to get to know us and who we are, what we do. And so that's kind of, I think, a first step for a lot of people is to read this book.
Yeah. And I'm going to just chime in here. And so anthologies are great because they're not read it cover to cover type book, and I don't like the word anthology. It sounds heavy, this compilation, this collaboration. If you go to a coffee shop and you just listen to 10 different conversations that are going on in a coffee shop, you probably will identify with at least half of the conversations that you hear, right? Somebody was late on the bus, somebody didn't get paid enough, their boss is a jerk, their family members aren't being the way they want them to be, they struggle with something in their personal life. If our listeners walked into a coffee shop or a restaurant and you just stopped and paid attention and listened to what's happening around you, you will probably be able to relate to some level of all of those conversations. And that's what I see with this collaboration, is that we're bringing to you real life examples that we have lived and breathed and experienced and made it through to the other side. My chapter is called Crossing the Threshold, and it's about converting fear into strength and into power. And so you can just randomly pick this book up, open up a chapter, read a chapter, and get a good story, get a good connection, and get a good set of ahas and how to apply this to your life type things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what I like about it so much, is that, no matter where you are, man, woman, no matter what age, there's a story in this book that's going to be in alignment with you. And that equals my community as well. Like, so if we're talking true, like something for everyone, when you collaborate with others in this way, whether it's a book or a community or a podcast network, you get something for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's in a way that, I love what Denise and her editor have done with, the tools, the takeaway pieces, because I love that. And I love the fact that I could go to this book and walk away with 15 actual things to do. And as a very science-based, educated person, I mean, that's my education is in applied science, my college. I tend to be linear in one aspect and then uber creative on this other side. And I love tools and I love systems. And this is like the combination of that for people looking to take their health and well-being to that next level, and then getting connected with the people. Everybody that wrote chapters in this book, to my knowledge, is accessible. You can go to Living Healthy List, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can message Diane, and you can actually have conversations. And that is where real change happens.
Yeah, so I want to invite that. So real quick, I have no problem at all putting my phone number out there. If you're just tuning in and you're just trying to figure out what this conversation is about, but it's kind of intriguing, send me a text message with choice as the text message to 503-317-8072. And there you go. Hit me up right now, and then I'll know who you are. So we're talking about bringing individual people together to create a bigger impact in the world, to make a positive impact in your personal life with more purpose and intent. Denise, we have 2 minutes till break. Jump in here and share a little bit about why people need to tune in after the break and why they need to connect to us about the book.
Well, I'm just going to read real quick a bit of the, I guess, the description. One of the foundations of happiness is a healthy lifestyle. Improving your lifestyle and creating happiness is only possible when you care for your health first. Daily stresses, disorganization, unbalance, all of those things are difficult, and sometimes they don't allow you to reach your goals. So the question really is, could having a healthy lifestyle and reaching your goals be as simple as looking at it from a different perspective? And that's what we're talking about, the different perspective and the mindset. So come back to learn a little bit more about some of the tools that Diane has and that I share and that Suzanne shares. We'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek. And it is about, mindset, positive psychology, and how you can use those tools on a daily basis in a simple way, step by step, to reach the goals that you're striving for.
Absolutely, 100%. And you used a favorite phrase of mine, change your perspective. So stay with us. We are talking about shifting your perspective, bringing new tools into your personal world and your personal situation to have healthy thinking and a happy life so that you can master your mindset and you can get stuff done. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Diane McClay Show, where every Friday we try to empower your life through choice. And I just want to say, amazing things happen when you actually have real conversations with real people. During the break, we're talking to our wonderful producer, Jessica of Transformation Talk Radio, and she informed us that she actually contributed to a book. So I just want to highlight Fourfold Formula, All Things Wellness. I'll bet if you Google that, you could probably read her chapter as well. She just told us that she stepped outside of her comfort zone and participated in a book writing experience. And her title was The Law of Unattraction. And she talks about how her perspective through a lot of her life was about looking through the lens of negativity. So literally in the last minute, new information has come into my world. There's another person out there who's in the world of health and wellness, but she plays the behind the scenes role of making us look and sound good on Transformation Talk Radio. So quick shout out to Jessica, Fourfold Formula, All Things Wellness. And I would encourage you to go find that law of unattraction and figure out where the negativity is happening in your life. We all have it. We all fall into it accidentally sometimes. And sometimes we're like Eeyore, where we just like to be negative, even though there's really good things happening around us, right? So that's a really great transition back into healthy thinking, happy life, the book we're talking about, to master your mindset and get stuff done. And my guests are Suzanne Taylor King of Tailored Coaching and Denise Stegel of Living Healthy List. Ladies, where do we go from here? What do we want to share with people in the next half of the show?
Mm.
What's the thing that you've learned about yourself or your clients while you were working on this particular book project?
Ooh, that's
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Go ahead, Denise. This is
So
good.
my background is food and nutrition. I went to college. I have a degree in hotel restaurant business management with a focus in nutrition. So I talk about food all the time, like ad nauseum. I talk about food. And when I started collaborating and talking to different authors about this book, this healthy thinking book, I was not going to write a chapter at all. My goal was to write the introduction and the conclusion. But as the chapters started to come in, I felt like something was missing, and I was like, what is missing? Like, these are all great, and they all tie together, and all of the strategies, they make sense, but in my gut there was something missing. And I was cooking dinner one night and just kind of had the music going on, and all of a sudden this thought came to me. It's like, Denise, you need to write a chapter, because if you're thinking negatively about what you're eating and you're focused on diet, your thought process about how you're eating and what you're eating is going to affect your health and happiness down the road. So I kind of had the, aha moment where, I really thought initially this was, thinking and positive psychology and mindset and all of those pieces. And yes, it is really important. And that was, to me, the piece that I could share was equally as important, because the way we think about our food and our diet, what we eat, not being on a diet, absolutely affects the way we the choices that we make. And so for me, that was really a bit of an aha. And I realized that what I teach and what I preach, really, it goes across the board: health, wellness, personal development, and bringing fun into life. All of those things, there's food involved in all of those. And so it really did bring me to a place where I realized that I had something to add to this book as well.
And I know, Suzanne, I haven't read both of your stories yet, but the first one that I read really talked about overcoming a barrier to a health component for you. Without giving away the whole story, do you want to touch on kind of your aha in your first story, or give some highlights of your second story about how you overcame some barriers that you didn't even know you had about
Well,
some
I
healthy
think, I think any barrier, I've had numerous in my life, and the health barriers in particular, they're the ones that seem to have affected my mindset the most, that required the most adjustment. And I'd say it all comes down to hope, which is what my chapter is about. Because hope, to me, once I really studied positive psychology, which was after the journey, and that's kind of how
You're
it
still in the
happened.
journey, by the way.
Yeah,
You're not on the other side of the journey until you're done.
yeah, very true. And I started dabbling a little bit in Stoic philosophy and found out that hope was really a necessary ingredient to be able to move forward. So for entrepreneurs, or for somebody struggling with a health journey, if you don't have hope for a better future, whether it's pain or an illness or hardship or getting over grief, like literally anything, if you can't see the other side of that journey and where it's going to get better, the journey is longer, more difficult, and you're not as open-minded or as creative or as full of perspective as you could be if you didn't have that hope for a better future. So for me, it was all about being prospective about the future, moving forward with hope. That was really the core theme for me, whether it was grief or infertility or an autoimmune disease or, a death of a very close family member, like any of those things. It was, yes, it's hard right now, right this minute. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know that tomorrow is going to be better. I know that a week from now is going to be even better. And it's that kind of drives you forward to being more creative about your solutions.
I'm pointing at you because I want to jump in.
Okay.
We can't guarantee that tomorrow will be better. We can guarantee tomorrow will be different. And this is where, like, I'm not challenging you, but I am, right?
But you can,
Because
you can.
Because we're in a good community with each other and we do that. But tomorrow may not be better, but it will be different. And this is where choice comes in. And I want to read you something real quick from my chapter, if I can, about choice. My belief is that we have more access to choice than we are taught or that we believe. For one reason or another, fear is a part of life, but it takes choice and courage to live freely without the emotional traps of negative emotions like shame, guilt, fear, and regret. Healthy thinking and happy living are choices that are best supported by asking, how do I want to show up today? Not yesterday, not a year ago, today in this moment, how do I want to show up? So this is what I wrote. Find the choice and courage today to navigate, find the courage today to navigate your life by choice, not by circumstance. You will not know where your journey will end when you opt for change, but trust your instinct when it says you cannot stay where you are. So tomorrow may not be better, but it's going to be different. And the beauty about the experts at Living Healthy List and in Suzanne's Idea Lab community and with me is that we can say, do you like where you're at? And if you don't, we can help you get to where you want to be in this moment. And then what I would argue, or what I would tag on to your thought is, with enough choices, with enough options, with awareness and a purpose and intent behind those things, eventually it will get better. We can't promise when that will be, but when you are deliberate about the choices you make, when you are deliberate about your mindset, and when you use the power of mindset management and the power of this community, yes, it will get better. That's what I wanted to say. Jessica, I love you. That was awesome.
That's so great.
It felt too perfectly timed.
And Jessica, how's it sounding to you? Like, do you want to chime in here, especially from somebody who lived in a negative mindset for a while?
I mean, that's it. You've nailed it. I mean, Diane, you'll have to interview you on my podcast because you've literally just described why I started it.
Okay. Awesome. So what are you taking away from this conversation about mindset and about choice?
So first of all, it's sometimes I'm probably contradicting myself by saying this, but it's easy. It's not simple. So, right. And once we can get into it, it's like you're rolling. But I think you got to reach out and get help from people like yourselves in order to get to that space, to be able to be in the courage and making good choices and in the right mindset. I think sometimes we think we have to do it alone, and we just need help sometimes.
You make a very good point, Jessica, because none of us have done it alone. We've had the support of each other. We've had support of other people, other experts. And so I think sometimes people look at us and go, oh, well, they've got it all together. We've got a lot of stuff together, but, there are days when I don't have my bleep together and I'm not getting bleep done. But I know I can get back on track because of the work that I've done with Suzanne and the conversations that I have with Diane. Thank you, Diane, for the conversation the other day about my mom.
You're welcome. Well, and to that point, right, you and I bonded a little bit. Your mom's 81. My dad is 80. I just spent 2 weeks at home over Thanksgiving. And my mom pointed out to me that she's starting to notice that my dad is listing a lot of lasts. He's old enough now where he sees the end of his life coming. Like, he went pheasant hunting with a buddy of his and he felt bad that he was going to go while I was home. And I said, Dad, this is a buddy of yours. He's a friend. You don't know when you're going to get the next pheasant hunt. You don't know if the dog's 14. So you don't know if the dog will be capable of hunting again. You don't know how your friend's health is going to be. You don't know how your health is going to be. So go. I want you to have a good time. And his response was, well, this might be my last hunt. My response was, it might be your last hunt, but let's not go into it with regret. Right. And so for our older listeners, or people who are in the third act of their life, maybe they're not old, but they're closer to the third act. This is a really important, this mindset business is really critical, because you can go down the road of, this is the last time I can do this. This is the last time I can do that. I don't know if I'll be able to do these things a week from now or a year from now. Or you can go down the road of, I'm going to do the best I can with what I have in the moment that I have it. And I'm going to make the best of everything so that I have good memories and good experiences, right?
Absolutely.
Two completely different pieces of energy there. Talk to me, you guys. How's this landing for you?
Well, for me, it comes back to athleticism and the mindset required to do some of the things I've achieved athletically. Whether I started cycling with my dad when I was about 12, and I remember thinking, well, I'm only 12. My legs are short and skinny and I'm scrawny, and I'm going to go cycling with a bunch of 40-some-year-old men. How am I going to keep up? And my dad said, well, we're going to train. We're going to train. We're going to prepare. We're going to get you to the point physically where you can do it. Now you just have to believe you could do it. So I don't know whether that was his military background helping me through some of those mindset things when I was younger. And the first day we went out to train, and this stuck with me, still sticks with me. I get out to the garage, and the seat has been removed from my bike. So there's no seat.
That can't be good.
And I said, what are we doing here? And he said, well, you're going to go for this ride, and you're not going to sit down. And I was like, so I'm going to ride the whole time standing up? And he said, no better way to build muscle in your thighs. And I was like, Mom, like, oh my God. And it was a short ride, but it was uphill and downhill. And I had to, use my body weight in a different way. It was a different perspective on cycling. And it was cycling from the standpoint of, how am I going to perform at my highest level in 3 weeks? Well, we need to train differently. We need to have a different perspective. And that always stuck with me, how he was able to navigate that. So it seems so easy for him to do that. But it really kind of formed who I am. I think about training differently, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. And entrepreneurship, healthy living, everything that you do, Diane, is really all between the ears. It's how you think about it that makes it worth doing or not doing.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting. So my husband Mark and I have this, we're doing a case study, just the two of us, looking at our friends who have retired, whether they retired at 65 or 70, and, what are they doing now? How are they doing? And I have to say that it's interesting to see that most of them are not doing great. They're not living that healthy, happy life because of their mindset. Oh, I'm done with work. I'm done with that. Oh, I can't be bothered. And so they've really just taken this, put themselves in a circumstance where they don't have to do anything, or they don't have to continue to grow. They don't feel they still need goals. so their goal is to wake up every day and that's it. And so the few people that I know who, on the flip side, a handful of other people that we know who've retired, who are, it's interesting that you say cycling, Suzanne. One of them is, she cycles, she does these cross state bike rides. A couple of others, one of them has started painting. Another one has, I forget what she's done, but she's started something new in her life. And what I see, it's so different. They are both, all of them are in, okay shape. They could be better because, again, mindset, thinking about exercise and movement. I talk about movement when we talk about healthy lifestyle, because nobody really likes exercise. That seems like work. But when you move, and especially as somebody gets older, if you can't bend down to tie your shoes, that is something that can really mess with your mindset. So let's start working on that now. Just bending squats. They don't have to be these deep squats like they do with the gym, but just knowing that you can do that now to keep that positive mindset. One positive when it comes to your physical activity and your physical abilities, but that keeps your mindset positive as well. And so mindset is more than just something that you need to do when you're working and when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s. No, as you continue to as we all continue to get older, the mindset changes. It has to change because our physical abilities change, but we still have to stay in that mindfulness, like where we are today. How can, as you say, Diane, how can we show up today to be, to make today the best day and be the best Denise or the best person you can be that day?
Well, I want to tie this into actually the positive intelligence that Shahzad, his course. Suzanne, you're a trainer for that. Denise, you're actually taking a course to be a trainer. As soon as I move to Colorado and I get my office back, that also is a goal of mine.
When you get your bleep together?
When I get my bleep together, right? When I get, but all three of us are very positive individuals by ourselves. And we are like extraordinarily positive when the three of us get together in a room. But what was interesting when I took the positive intelligence, when I walked through the class with you, Suzanne, is there's this awareness. So you can't change anything until you have awareness.
Right.
But what was interesting is even with just this app, this positive intelligence app that you can have on your phone, that you can actually get if you take the course with Suzanne or with Denise, is that you become aware of when your mind isn't actually being positive. I remember this time I was working at the local hardware store, and there was a guy there that just bugged me every single day, one of the other employees, to the point where when I would see him coming down one aisle, I would physically move myself to another aisle so I didn't have to bump into his energy. And I found that I was having that negative talk, like, what the heck is that guy doing? I really don't like him. And why is he even coming to talk to me? Right. And I set a reminder bell on my phone every hour. So I got a chime, and it was literally, I just asked myself, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking right now? And what was crazy is, for as positive as I am, I'm almost like sickeningly positive to a lot of people. What I realized is every time that chime went off, I had an awareness that I was actually less positive than I thought I was. I was less positive than I wanted to be. And what was interesting is when I put myself in check and I'd say, how am I feeling right now? And I want to engage our listeners. You're driving, you're listening to us, you're at home doing chores, whatever. How do you feel right now? Take a deep breath. Look at deep inside. What is going on in your heart? What is going on in your mind? Right? If you don't feel good, if your body tenses up and you feel kind of icky for whatever reason, you are somebody that needs to be engaged with this book about managing your mindset. And you're somebody who can benefit from some awareness and positivity training about how we can show up.
Yeah.
Right. Like, help me out here, guys. Like, am I on point here?
Oh my God.
Absolutely,
so much.
Absolutely.
So much. Now, Denise is at a different point in the program, right? But I would say when I took it for myself, just as a participant, there was an awareness at the beginning of, taking an assessment, and you can take that assessment for free at positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs. And I found out that my number one saboteur was the avoider. Oh, I was like, I don't avoid things. And I had this whole story. And my number two saboteur was the victim. I was offended. I was like, oh, what? No
I
way.
remember when you told me that you were kind of beside yourself, because
I was.
Yeah.
I was. So the judge, that internal voice, was offended at my own self-sabotage. Now, that's classic negative self-talk at its finest. So, the meta awareness was like, holy crap, Suzanne, you're offended at your own self-sabotage? Like, oh, come on. You have some work to do. You have some work to do. And 3 weeks in, I was sitting on my porch, beautiful summer day, and there was empty space. There was no judgment. There was no negative self-talk. There was no blah, blah, blah. You need to do this. You're fat, you're old, you're ugly, blah, blah, blah. You should be up. You should be doing something. You should be learning. You should be doing dishes. You should. Nothing. And I thought, my God, woman, what is possible? What is possible creativity-wise? What's possible connection-wise to other people without all that? Oh my God.
And can I just add to that, Suzanne? That was around the time that all of a sudden your whole mindset, your whole vision, was clarified. And since then, you have just been kicking butt in your business. And I'm always, and like every day, I'm like, well, what's Suzanne got to say? I got my phone. I got to see what she's up to, because it's so clear. And I believe that was the time that it shifted for you. So again, it's that positivity.
Because I don't think you can achieve great things when you're busy inside of your head telling yourself you can't, or you shouldn't, or that's too big. Who are you to do that? I mean, you've all heard them. Everybody listening, everybody here in this room has heard that voice inside their head about a wrinkle, about a lump on your thigh, about your age, about a gray hair, about a dream that you have for your business or travel or a relationship. Like, we've all been there. Imagine what's possible without all of that. It's just really, it's an incredible place to grab a hold of.
And re-anchor that, right?
Yes.
Essentially, you're creating a new foundation. And what I hear when you're talking about the voices in your head is there's noise, right? So for our listeners, what's the noise that you're hearing right now? Is it physical noise in your car or your house? Is it emotional noise inside your heart? Is it intellectual noise inside your head? And then with the noise, is it so frequent that you just don't even notice it anymore? I wrote a piece called White Noise. My partner worked for UPS on the 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift and always had a fan running in the bedroom. And I like quiet. But there was a point where the fan noise was white noise. It became so consistent and so regular and so a part of my world that it was almost deafening when we had a power outage and I heard nothing, right? And Suzanne, I imagine that space, that free space that you talked about building awareness to and suddenly being able to pleasantly sit in, the image I see is that you were sitting in a comfortable rocking chair on your porch with a cup of coffee, and it was the perfect temperature and the perfect day. And there was not just the deafening silence of no noise, but there was this beautiful flowing space of allowing things to come in and allowing things to go out in perfect balance. And for our listeners, I'm kind of doing this figure 8 flow with my arms from left to right, right? where in the middle of that figure 8 is yourself. So if you actually move your arms enough times, eventually, if you were to draw a line on paper, you disappear in that figure 8, right? So if that white noise were to disappear and you're able to create space, imagine the power, imagine the sense of livelihood and healthy living that you can tap into. So to our listeners, what's the noise that you hear right now? Right? And has it been going on so long that you just don't even know it's there? Because the minute you have awareness is the minute that you can start making options and you can start creating change.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like that's how we make choices, right? So I'm being flashed on the screen here. We had such a great conversation. We're coming really close to our end, and I hate to do this, but we're going to have to cut this conversation off. We're going to have other authors on talking about the book more, but Suzanne, tell people how they can work with you, and Denise, same thing, and then we'll close the show up.
Well, everything's on my website, SuzanneTaylorKing.com. You can find out about my community right there at the top of the website and all about the work I do with entrepreneurs.
Awesome. And Denise?
Great. You can find me at livinghealthylist.com. And if you go livinghealthylist.com/membership, you can learn a little bit more about how we can work together.
Exactly. And Healthy Thinking, Happy Life. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you more about when the book is coming out and how you can get a hold of it. Everybody, happy Friday. Thank you for making the choice to be with us today. Go forward, do good things, take care of yourself, but more important, take care of each other. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Diane McClay Show, where you are empowered to enact change in your life through choice. You know that little voice in your head that's been telling you to pursue that passion project? Or maybe it's been screaming for you to go outside and explore the great outdoors. That voice is you, and you deserve to be heard. Listen, make a choice, make a change, and watch yourself grow. For more information about Diane or to work with her personally, visit DianeMcClay.com.